Hi, I'm Lise Leblanc, therapist, author, and life coach, and today I'm talking about toxic sexual tactics that a female covert narcissist uses to manipulate, control, and exploit her partner. At the end of this video, I will give you the number one sign that you are having toxic sex. So let's jump right in with the 10 toxic sexual tactics in no particular order. Number one is love and sex bombing. A female covert narcissist typically starts a relationship by creating an intoxicating sense of intimacy using sex to create a fast sense of trust and a facade of deep connection. So she'll mirror you, act like your dream partner, like the person you've been searching for your whole entire life, the one who will make all of your dreams and sexual fantasies come true, and all of this to get you hooked. Number two is withdrawal of sexual intimacy. So as the relationship goes on, a female covert narcissist will pull away from you and abruptly put a stop to sex, leaving you wondering what you did wrong, triggering your fears of rejection and abandonment, feelings of inadequacy, extreme anxiety, and self-doubt. This might lead you to chase her and become desperate in your efforts to get the emotional and sexual intimacy that you once had back. So you might apologize for things you didn't do, buy her flowers, gifts, promise to do better. And this might bring her back around, or she might remain elusive, testing to see just how far you'll go and how hard you will work for her. She will only reconnect with you when she senses that you're losing interest. And then if she's still wanting to exploit you, she'll come back full force. But from this point forward, sex will be contingent on your level of compliance. The push-pull dynamic will only intensify over time, and the emotional highs and lows will be exhausting as you become more and more reliant on her for approval, affection, and sex, which you will be working harder and harder for. Number three is criticism. So once the devaluation phase starts, it swiftly infiltrates all aspects of the relationship, including the bedroom. So where she used to praise you, now she criticizes your body, micromanages your sexual performance, do it like this, not like that, and continually expresses dissatisfaction and disappointment in subtle ways. So it's a tone, a casual comment disguised as a joke. It's all those nonverbal cues. So for example, during sex, she lets out an exaggerated sigh, gives you a disgusted look, turns away. She's just chipping away at your self-confidence and your self-worth, making you second-guess your sexual abilities and your desirability. Obviously, everyone has the right to express their sexual wants and needs, but doing it in a way that builds trust and intimacy is so important. So for example, if stamina is a problem for you, maybe your partner will talk to you about it outside of the bedroom in a way that's, solution focused. That is, if you have a healthy, well-adjusted partner. A narcissist will do this in a very demeaning way. Number four is rejection. While it's perfectly fine to say no to sex, there's a compassionate way to do so that takes your partner's needs and feelings into consideration. So for example, your healthy, well-adjusted partner might say, "I'm not feeling really well tonight, but can I make it up to you tomorrow?" A covert narcissist, on the other hand, is using sexual rejection as a manipulation tactic. So she might ignore your sexual advances or just say something like, "Not now, can't you see I'm busy?" She's completely cold and uncaring, leaving you feeling unwanted. You might even start to think that no one would want you. So her rejection isn't even about sex, it's about power. By withholding physical contact and sex, she makes you starved for that sexual intimacy, and you'll find yourself grateful for any little crumb of intimacy that she offers, no matter how disconnected and hollow. And eventually, all sex is controlled by her, and you feel like a crack addict waiting for your next fix. Number 5 is breaching boundaries and sexual coercion. So, in a relationship with a female covert narcissist, she sets all the rules and boundaries. And if you try to set any limits, she will dismiss your feelings, accuse you of being unreasonable, and disregard whatever boundaries you did manage to set. This creates a power imbalance where your needs and limits are constantly overlooked and violated, and hers are top priority. So maybe you come home from work tired and stressed out one day. I don't know, maybe you lost a bunch of money on the stock market, or you had a conflict with your boss, and you try to talk to her about it, but she insists on having sex. Who knows? Maybe in her mind, sex fixes everything. But instead of providing the emotional support that you need and are requesting, she dismisses you and continues with sex, even though you don't want to. And here's the kicker. If the tables were turned, you'd be painted an insensitive jerk at best. So, in a narcissistic relationship, you may also feel pressured or even coerced into engaging in sexual activities that you're not comfortable with. Number 6 is that she's completely detached and indifferent to your sexual needs and preferences. So when you do have sex, despite saying that she wants to, she's completely detached, robotic, indifferent, distant, like she's in another world. And once she's done, there is zero effort on her part to please you. It's dead fish sex. She's letting you know that she'd rather be doing just about anything else than having sex with you, leaving you feeling isolated, disconnected, and sending you a clear message that she doesn't care one bit about your sexual needs or pleasure. Number 7 is guilt and shame. A female covert narcissist will use guilt and shame to make you feel like you're at fault for the lack of sexual intimacy and any other problem that you might be having. So for example, if you express a sexual desire or fantasy, she might ridicule and shame you. She may say something like, "That's so childish. What are you, 14?" Or she might try to make you feel guilty by saying something like, "You're making me feel like I'm not good enough for you." And this tactic shifts the blame onto you, making you feel bad or shameful for talking about your needs and desires instead of simply having an open, honest conversation about it. Number 8 is using your vulnerabilities against you. For example, let's say you tell your girlfriend about a traumatic sexual experience that you had during childhood. When you first told her about it, she was sympathetic, but then, next thing you know, she's weaponizing this information, blaming all the problems in the relationship on your trauma, taking zero accountability for any of her behavior. So she uses your trauma as leverage to make you feel inadequate and ashamed, and you can bet that this sensitive information will be leaked as part of her smear campaign if you break up. Number 9 is comparisons. So a common tactic is comparing you to her exes or to other men to make you feel inadequate. So she might say, "Jake used to love doing that to me, and oh my God, it was the best sex I ever had." Or, "All the other men I've been with had no problem giving me an orgasm." So she wants you to feel insecure about your ability to satisfy her sexually. She wants you to live in fear that she could easily go out and find someone else. So her goal is to create a sense of competition and insecurity to make you work harder to prove your worth. Number 10 is cheating. For some female covert narcissists, sex can become an addiction to get their need for validation met. And you might think, wow, that sounds great. But if ever you're not in the mood, or you're not around, or you're just not providing enough validation, she'll turn to someone else, probably an ex or someone she's already having an emotional affair with. This not only harms you psychologically, but it also puts you at risk of physical harm, creating major health concerns such as getting an STD or worse. So I'm not saying all covert narcissists cheat, but if they do, they won't have any sense of responsibility towards you or concern for your health. So you'd better hope that she has respect for her own health. As promised, the number one way to know that you're having toxic sex is that it makes you feel bad, anxious, inadequate, shameful, insecure, addicted, or abused. So instead of making you feel good, connected, relieved, valued, loved, it's the total opposite. Another red flag is if you try to discuss any of your concerns, no matter how maturely or respectfully you bring these things up, she will gaslight you to no end. Tell you that you're too sensitive. She's just trying to help. You're making a big deal out of nothing. Any other guy would be happy. You're exaggerating, not remembering things right. You need professional help. To learn more about gaslighting, please click on the link above. The negative impacts of a sexual relationship with a female covert narcissist can cause serious psychological harm and sexual problems. So if you're in this situation, I would suggest seeking support from a therapist who specializes in narcissistic abuse recovery. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this video helpful, please share your thoughts and experiences in the comment section below, subscribe, and for more information about the toxic tactics of a female covert narcissist, please click on the link above.